Well, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Julia Royston. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I own BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting. So today we are here as a Black History Month spotlight on authors. Yay! Always super excited to have an opportunity to spotlight authors and tell about their books. So what I want you to do is get your pen and paper, open up your phone. I want you to be ready to follow them on social media, purchase their books, share them, especially throughout Black History. Now, Black History is 365 days. It's not just a 1 month, even though we're spotlighted in that 1 month, but we're going to act like it is and participate like it is 365 days. So, you can find me all on social media. Just put in Julia Royston, Royston, and then you should be able to find me everywhere on all social media platforms. And if you are interested in publishing, go to talkwithroyston.com. If you are interested in any of the books I've written, go to juliaroystonstore.com. Everything else, go to juliakroyston.com and you'll find all my online stores, all my books, everything that I've done. But I'm super excited to have this conversation with authors today and look forward to coming in and let's have this conversation and let's spotlight the books that we've written. As you well know, this is only a fraction. My husband says that every time we travel, and this is only a fraction of the books that we have published. Go online and look. And he's right. This is only a fraction of the authors that have either published on their own or published with BK Royston Publishing or Royal Media and Publishing, and that we affiliate with. So I'm super excited. I'm always honored and humbled to be with authors anywhere and meet them and encourage them. And so if you're interested in writing, this is an example. You can ask them anything. And hopefully if they don't know, they'll let somebody else know. But we have multiple genres represented tonight, from inspiration to poetry to fiction to nonfiction, memoirs, a little bit of everything to hopefully start you on your journey and start you on your way. So we're going to start first. I think I'm going to start with Dr. Nettles first. Dr. Nettles, unmute yourself, and I'm going to take everyone else out.
And hello, good evening.
Hello and good evening to you too, darling.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month to you too, love too. We Black 365 days, but yay, we get
absolutely 24/7.
Take it away and go right ahead.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. I am Vernette Clemens Nettles, and I'm living in Montgomery, Alabama, and I have been a published author for 5 years. You can find me at www.vernettcnettles.com, and my email address is vernettcnettles@gmail.com. I think I said that right. And my website, I have 2 websites. I've just mentioned the www.vernettcnettles.com, and I also have www.vcndailypray.com. And what I want to talk about today are my 2 children's books, and they're titled Beautiful, Smart Just Like Me, and Beautiful Just Like Me. And it's a part of my Just Like Me series. And these books focus on our young children and their challenges. Beautiful Just Like Me focuses on a young girl who is teased because she is the darkest child in the classroom, and the students tease her. But when she gets home, her mother talks to her about the family, the ladies in the family, the different colors, the successes, and how beautiful we all are. And so that really is my story, Beautiful Just Like Me. And then Smart Just Like Me is really about my brothers. And so these 2 children's books honor my siblings and my parents. And so the Smart Just Like Me focuses on my brothers who were challenged in school. You know, everybody has an academic challenge every now and again, but it also focuses on their successes. And sometimes we think when we're young that our challenges are insurmountable and we cannot get over them. But Smart Just Like Me focuses on the fact that, yes, we all are challenged, but we all have successes in multiple ways. So I do really get excited about talking about my children's books because they honor my family. And so the other thing I do want to mention is that I am now 5 years in as a published author, and to celebrate that, I published 5 books last year. So I am very excited about this journey as it turns into retirement and an ability to write more and more and more and more and join Julia all around the world.
Oh my goodness, 5 books in 1 year. So I gotta ask you,
Yes, ma'am.
just in case you have to go. Okay, so what is your writing schedule? What is your writing? Because I know that 5 books in 1 year is a lot. Okay, so what
Yes.
is your writing schedule and how do you do it?
It is very difficult, but it is doable. I enjoy writing, and I usually do a prayer a morning. So that always gives me a prayer to put in any of the prayer journals that I write, and any of the prayer devotionals that I write. And I write when you schedule yourself to write, and when you write when you have that influence to write, it makes a big difference. A lot of times you talk to authors and they say, I don't know when to write, or it's not in order. But writing is not about order. Writing is about getting the experience out on paper, and then I promise you it will order itself. The characters will speak to you, the poetry will speak to you, and it will order itself. But if you never write it down, if you never take the time, then you won't have anything to put in order, and therefore you won't have anything to publish.
Exactly, exactly. So we make time for what we want and we make time
Absolutely.
for what we deem important. And I've
Yes.
often told people it's just not important to you and it might not be the right time for you. If you're too busy for it, then it's on your, I won't say bucket list, but your to-do list of
Right.
eventually you're going to do it. But you have to make time in your life and you have to make time in your schedule. Congratulations, Dr. Nettles, on all those books, and I know there's plenty more to come
Oh my
and all
gosh.
that good stuff. Yeah, I know. I
I have
do. We
9 burning ideas.
9 burning ideas. Oh well, we're gonna see 9 and then turn into 10. Anyway, love you. Thank you so
Love
much,
you.
Dr. Burnett
Thank
C. Nettles.
you.
Go to BurnettCNettles.com and see all of her books and all of her activities that has going on, as well as find her on social media. You be blessed, love.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next. Let's keep going in the deep south. We're gonna head on over to the East Coast. Maybe not the deep south. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's not considered the deep south, but we are so happy to have with us this evening Dr. Tamara Bowles. And go ahead and take it away, Dr. Bowles, and introduce your books. Yay! And I'll be back.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Royston. And I would like to just say happy, wonderful, wonderful, amazing Black History Month to everyone. I like to give honor where it's due. And I want to thank you, Dr. Royston, as my amazing publisher. Without you, this would not be possible. I want to thank my wonderful daughter who serves as a captain in the United States Army, Alexis Carter, my amazing husband, Anthony Bowles, and my wonderful oldest brother, Edward Molat, for all of your support. And to all of the viewers and friends, thank you. I am Dr. Tamara Bowles. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, grew up in Pensacola, Florida, and I am very excited to say that I have enjoyed being the author of 2 books. My first book is Cleaning Out My Garden, and I'll hold it up for you. And then the second book is Under the Doctorial Hat. And you can find my books on my website. I do have 2 websites. The first website is byfconsulting1.com. That's byfconsulting, the number 1.com. The second website is byfconsulting.org. So I encourage you to go to my websites and get your books. On that note, Cleaning Out My Garden is a very personal book to me. With that book, that was basically featured during the time of COVID that I produced a book. And when I thought about greatness inside of me, I thought about cleaning out my garden. So when I think about greatness is inside of you, but you must clean out your garden of life, that's where I can take you on a journey from sadness to outward success. Cleaning out my garden basically is an inspirational genre. It talks about the dysfunctional family that I grew up in. It talks about the barriers. It talks about the different obstacles that I faced. But through it all, I made it. And I want you to know that this book will touch you. It is very user friendly, it's very read friendly. I encourage anyone from middle school to young adulthood to read the book because it will definitely bless you. If you want to remove the emotional hedges of hurt that are hindering you from living your best life, I encourage you to clean out your garden. If you want to create a social system of pest control to keep people and avoid situations that will only harm you from your garden and you from blooming, I encourage you to read this book, Cleaning Out Your Garden. The most important things that I got out of cleaning out my garden was knowing that I was growing. I had to realize what the plants of prosperity was, what the fruits of focus was, and what the vegetables of victory was. And because I cleaned out my garden, it was like a release off me. I want you to know, if this Black girl from Pensacola, Florida can make it through everything that she went through, you can make it. So I want you to be inspired. As it relates to my second book, Under the Doctoral Hat, it doesn't matter what hat you wear. It's about the testimony under the hat. So Under the Doctoral Hat for me was my testimony. It was personal. It taught me and it showed me that I can do anything but fail. And in spite of, again, the barriers, the obstacles that I faced, I made it. So I encourage you to go to my website. I encourage you to read those books. You can reach me. My cell number is 502-424-0010. And last but not least, if you are thinking about writing a book or you are contemplating on writing a book, I encourage you to contact Dr. Julia Royston. By the time you get off the phone with her and having that conversation, you will be finalizing the next steps in writing your book. Thank you so much, Dr. Royston.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Dr. Bowles. I appreciate it. So I had to ask you because those two books, which I know intimately, are very, very personal to you. And so I know it's very inspirational, it's very empowering, but it's extremely personal. And I know that a lot of people like I've had so many things happen to me, and they tell me I have a book, but I don't know if I'm ready to share my personal story. What do you think is one thing that it really takes for you to really think about sharing that story? Because some stories are personal, and I'm one to guide you through the process so that it protects your now, even though we're telling where you've been before, what you've overcome, because the Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So we really can't help others unless we actually tell that testimony. And we tell now, everybody's got to, I don't need to know all the intimate details. There's a lot of things we can know. Hardships is just hardships. Tribulations is tribulations. Trials are trials. I'm like, I don't need to know a full description, but you made it. Look at you sitting there clothed, successful, and in your right mind. But somebody who's still at that, I don't know if it's the right time for me to tell. I don't know if it's the right time, even though somebody's waiting on your testimony. What do you feel like is the one thing that you need to ask yourself? Okay, I'm ready now. Or
It's
tell yourself.
that word is persevere, Dr. Royston. Persevere. So when you know you are destined for greatness, you have to be able to persevere and get past all of those things in order to grow and live your best life.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
think about perseverance, you've got to really be ready to go to the next level.
Right, right. Yeah. And then of course the other thing is it's always better when you tell on yourself, when you tell your story instead of having people dig it up and put their slant on and spin it. It didn't even happen because they wasn't even there. They don't even know. So therefore, when you tell your story, when you tell the trials and tribulations and people read it, because when I read it, I was like, oh, okay, you got from here to there, to where you are right now. That has been a journey. That has been perseverance, fortitude, determination, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. All of that has helped you to move forward. So I encourage you all to have perseverance, to
And
have
one other
endurance.
thing, Dr. Royston, when we tie that into Black History Month, my books, we think about the Rosa Parks, the Sir
Yeah,
John Truth, the Malcolm X's, the Rosa Parks.
right.
We think about all that they went through. They had to persevere. They had to go through some obstacles. They had to go through some setbacks. They had to go through some things. However, because they made it, look where they are today, and they've paved the way for people like me. Even
Amen.
though they've gone on, look where we are. So when I think about cleaning out my garden, I think about those individuals. I think about our African Americans who paved the way, who made sure that they set us up for nothing but success. And so when I share my story with people, I tell them I'm unstoppable when it comes to success. I need you to know that you choose your destiny. You have to know that when you're going into a situation, you have to reap those benefits of the plants of prosperity, the fruits of focus, the vegetables of victory. You have to see yourself there. And the only way you can do that is clean out your garden. You got to keep God first. When I tell you I had to pull some weeds out, Dr. Royston and viewers, I had to make sure I cleaned out my garden. I had to water that garden. I had to nurture that garden. I had to plant those seeds. And because I did those things, the release and the weight was lifted off of me. And because I cleaned out my garden, I am destined for greatness.
Yep.
I am unstoppable. And I believe that if I can do it, anyone can.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. Visit byfconsulting1.com. And by the way, just as a little, not only just to purchase the books, but if you have a young person that may need tutoring in any way, there's a whole lot on that website. So visit it. And if you need her, you know how to find her. Thank you so much, Dr. Bowles.
You're welcome.
All right. Coming up next, let's keep within the South. Still in the state of Kentucky, though. Dr. Janet, go ahead and introduce yourself, love, and tell us about your book. Hold on, I need to unmute you. Hold on, I need you to unmute yourself. Yay! There we go. All right, I'm getting out of the way.
Hi, my name is Janet C. Stanley. I am Reverend Dr. Janet C. Stanley. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been living here in Franklin, Kentucky now for about 5 years. Um, I do have one book which I'm so proud of, and it's called A Cup of Love. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it. It's called A Cup of Love, and the cup of love to me is God. This book I wrote in 2016, and I just finished it last year. I'm so glad to have met Dr. Julia, who has helped me in more ways than one. Um, this book talks about something that it's like one of my pet peeves, and that's like racism and hate that I hate so much. That's why I talk about a cup of love. God is that cup of love. Something happened years ago. I think one of the comedians had said something that really um, touched me and made me cry. So my husband said, "Well, maybe you can just write about it." I said, "Well, I'll try to." But anyway, when you talk about racism, um, we have the Caucasians who are not the only racists. We have blacks that are also racist. So my book kind of helps with the working with the spiritual disciplines. We have to work on our spiritual disciplines like every day. You have your fasting, you have praying, you have forgiving yourself, you have forgiving others. Those are things that you can work on and not hurt others. That's my main my main point is not help not to hurt others. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me at Amazon.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me also on Twitter. Uh, you can find me just about on all the social platforms. But I'm just glad to be here to be able to talk about my very own book that I wrote by myself.
Yay! Oh my gosh, a couple love. Oh, well, first off, I love the cover. That's one of my favorite covers. It's beautiful, love, but it tackles a very hard subject, especially during Black History Month when we know that between the civil rights movement and everything we've seen down through the ages and down through times, but with couple love, because God is love, we're able
Right.
to overcome and continue to endure. Racism still exists. Let's just
Yes.
not be, on both sides, on all sides.
Hmm.
Because and racism is prominent, of course, here in the U.S. Classism is other countries. So one people wanting to be superior than other people is not necessarily just a color issue. It is a class issue. It's a money issue. It's an age issue. It's an age old problem since time. But Dr.
Right.
Janet offers that couple love. We need God's love to conquer all of it. So I highly recommend it. And we learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron, and we learn from one another so that we are better people and that we move forward to be better human beings. So thank you, Dr. Janet,
Thank you
and
so
all that
much.
you're doing and spreading love. And Take Six said years ago, spread love. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah, we're gonna spread love.
Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
so
Doc.
much for having me. Thank
No
you.
problem, dear. Bye bye. All right, coming up next, we headed all the way to the West Coast. Let's go out west. Yay! And Mr.
How
Brooks,
you doing?
okay. Fine, love. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm
All
blessed.
righty, all righty. Take it away. Tell us about your books.
All right. My name is Brooks Crittenton, TLK Poetry. I published two poetry books. You have Poetry's Poesy, Volume 1, Scattered Thoughts. Uh, get close. There you go. Then you have Poetry's Poesy, Volume 2, Scattered Prayers. Thanks to Miss Julia, I've been able to publish two poetry books. My website is payhip.com/TLK Poetry. That's where you can get the online versions of the book. And I also have a short story called The City of Gold. It's like a pirate villain story that I created. So just trying to get my work out there and been able to, like I said, been blessed to publish all these works due to Royal Media Publishing. So and got more work coming. Got more
Oh
work
yeah.
coming soon.
Okay, so where can we find you on social media?
Social media, you can find me at TLK Poetry. That's where you can find me.
TLK
On
Poetry.
Instagram. On Instagram, TLK Poets on Facebook.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so I want you to explain, because I'm gonna be revealing it, and just a heads up, because April's National Poetry Month, so it's gonna be a
Yes.
big time, a big showdown around here for National Poetry Month. So so you have combined fiction and poetry together.
Yes.
So
Yes, I have.
tell us kind of how that came about, and why, because it's different. There are people who love poetry. My first book was poetry, so I'm all about the poets, and I support it. Dr. Nettles writes poetry too as well, so I'm all about the poets, and I'm gonna be ready in April. But I want you to really talk about this new. It's not really a new genre, because we've seen it before with
Yeah,
the
it's
poets of the
old writing.
old writing, and you like, what? And it was probably when I was in senior English, totally confused, like what they trying to say.
What are they
But
trying to
now
say?
Brooks is helping me a whole lot to understand that well. So tell us about it, that new genre that you've been working on.
Okay, so the new genre I've been, well, like we say, like not new, but I've
Right.
been working on more of the classical ways of writing poetry due to writing poetry or mixing poetry with story. Just as the Odyssey, Dante's Inferno, all them great novels that they used to write back in the day, and then give a hero's tale. So also doing a hero's tale because that hasn't been, done in a while. It's been a lot of years, and the one reason why I wrote it is because now you still have the youth learning these stories in classrooms where, like you said, when we was reading the Odyssey, when my ninth grade teacher gave me the Odyssey, I looked at it like, what is this?
Yeah, I know. I was like, what the world? It's not making no sense. And
It's
some
not
parts
making
rhyme and
no
some don't. And
sense. It's
what?
it's oh my goodness. So to man, but to give the youth but to give the youth something that they could read and understand and make it modern and still give a hero's tale, still give a poetic story as such as what they used to get back, centuries ago. You know, so that's something of an inspiration of mine to just, like you said, I love poetry. Poetry saved my life. Like, what I mean? When I was homeless, you remember,
I
I'm writing
remember.
scattered,
Oh, Jesus.
woo, you know what I
Woo!
mean?
Lord have mercy.
Having to give it to the most high. And
Yes,
once I
Lord.
gave it to him, everything then changed. But to elevate and I just wanted to try something. And I think people would like it. And like I said, that short story, The City of Gold, is something, it's not of complex as the novel that will be coming out that we were talking, but it's in that form, another story in poetry form, The City of Gold. And also that one has the audio, so you can download the audio
I was
and
gonna
read it.
say that. That's one of the key things that I tell poets. They're like, I don't really want to get up and read my poetry. Well, can you read it in a microphone such as this,
Yes,
and read it there, so that some people like to enjoy it audio and heard. And so
yes,
that was one of the things I definitely told Brooks, because first off, then just kind of as a sidebar while we're talking, if you've written a book of poetry that's in paperback, and then you have the ebook, and then you do the audios, well, that's three products. But if you do five audio tracks, that's five individual products. So really you have seven off of
yes.
one one
One
one
work.
one work you're working on. So, I just he really has yeah. Brooks has always been inspirational, but he's always been on the cutting edge and moving forward. Just as a sidebar, I met Brooks when I was at Jefferson Mall in 2019 before COVID.
Yes.
And he walked in and he was there. I mean, he got me in my heart because he was there for who passed away. He was there
My
for a
grandma, my grandmother,
his
my grandma
grandmother passed
Cranston.
away. And I was
Yeah.
like, come back Friday night. You can come and spit your poetry. And he was like, no, I gotta be with my family. My grandmother passed away. And I'm like, well, good. Let me put my phone up. Not good, but here, hit spit. And I posted him live, and then he says, I'm putting a book up. Well, when I meet people on the street, I take them face value. I was like, okay, great. And then here he comes, and book one, and then book two, and then book, and then short stories, and then I got to. So it it's one of those meetings when he told me what his situation was, I was like, okay, call me. You can call me. And my husband was like, okay, so what is he, like your little brother, your cousin? I said, yeah, I don't know. He just said, I'm homeless right now, Mr. No, don't tell me that. I just went on and on and on. But
Man,
God has brought Brooks a long way, and I'm so proud. I'm so
man.
happy and so excited for all that's going on with him. So be on the lookout. If you're on the West Coast, be on the lookout for him. Follow him on social media. Go to payhip.com.
Yes.
TLK Poetry, that's where the digital downloads, that's a big spot for digital downloads, so that, it goes directly to him.
Go directly,
And
yeah, that and
it
not
goes,
Amazon, you know.
yeah. So, he's my millennial who does things a little bit different. He's on Amazon, don't worry. I have
Yes,
him on
yes,
Amazon too, but the one of the beauties is that you have control over your own stuff. You just
yes.
you have
And
you
that
can
and
do
that's what it's
whatever
all
you want
about.
to do.
And that's why I really love what Royal Media offers, 100% of your royalty. And not only does 100% of your royalty, hey, we're going to also try to help you get your funds as soon as you get somebody
Yeah,
purchase a book. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to try to
right.
put money in your pocket for what you are doing.
You know, I
You
love
know,
the
when you have
royalties.
other places, it takes quite a while for them to pay
Yeah, it
you out.
does.
You
It
know,
does.
like we
It
know this
definitely
as
does.
authors. It takes a but for people to go to the direct website, and like I said, it's digital. We understand that you may want the physical, but if you do want the digital and it's on your phone and it's right there, and then those funds go directly to me, and
And
it
then he
helps me out as
knows,
an author.
yeah, and then he knows who bought it too. Because if you're on Amazon,
Yes.
you don't know who purchased it, but he
So
can.
in this one, and then I can email you back. I could be able to email you back and even give thanks for you purchasing, and you
Yeah,
can contact me back and let me know how you feel of the story. So,
it's a
but
beautiful
get
thing.
prepared for April. Get prepared for this
Let's
this
do
new
it. Let's
thing.
do it. Let's do it. Thank you so much. Look for
Thank you.
Brooks Crittenden, but his, as I say, his stage name is TLK Poetry and TLK
Yes.
Poets on Facebook. But be on the lookout for him. Thank you so much, sir. It's always a
Thank you.
pleasure. Take care of you.
Yes.
All righty, all righty. Yeah, yeah. Brooks is wonderful. We love him. As they say, he's like our that nephew you just like, want to see do well and all that good stuff. Coming up next, Ms. Peggy Dixon. Okay, wait a minute. Where did your sound go? Hold on.
Hello,
Yes. Yep,
hello,
yep,
hello,
yep.
hello. Well, Dr. Royston, thank you for having me be part of the Black History Month Spotlight. I am Peggy Dixon, and I live in Louisville, Kentucky, by way of Lexington, Kentucky. I can be found on Facebook, and I can also be found on solo.to/Peggy B. Dixon. And you can also email me at peggybrucedixon@gmail.com. Now, with all of that said, let me tell you that I am so excited to have met and been introduced to new authors tonight. And so I thank you for your share on the spotlight tonight as I've learned some new things. And I'm glad that I've been able to share with some of the authors that I've already been privileged to have met before. My two books that I will share with you tonight is one is called Meatloaf and Marriage. What do they have in common? There are basically three things that I say make up a marriage. Now, there are many things that go under those headings, but basically, there are three things, and you may say something different than what I will say, and that's okay. But my three takes on the book are commitment, which is your ingredients, and communication, which is your seasoning. And the third thing, most people don't even give a thought to or think about or know about, is that you have to have a container to put your meatloaf in to guard it and protect it. And you have to guard and protect your marriage. So those are my three takeaways on meatloaf and marriage. Uh, my husband and I, Walter, will be married this August the 10th for 50 years. And so I am very proud that I can still be invest in marriages and that I can help cultivate lives and build legacy. And speaking of legacy, this is my second book. You Are the Legacy, a Generational Tree. Now, before COVID happened, we had 9 billion living trees in the world. And yes, you and I are those living trees. And like trees, we go through seasons in our lives. And sometimes we need some navigation, some help, some support to be able to make it in this life, in this world. And so in this book, you will find that there is an old tree who I call Sacrifice, who meets up with a young tree who is called Legacy, and the journey begins for Legacy. For he comes out of darkness into a light, and he had questions, and he has to navigate, and he meets somebody But then the question is, will he listen to the advice that the old tree is giving him? Now, I won't spoil it to tell you whether he does or doesn't, but I will say this, that in all of our lives, we have an old tree who's called sacrifice if we would just call on him and lean on him and depend on him. And so those are my two books that I've written. And I'm excited also because my publisher is getting ready to help me get my newest ones off the ground pretty soon, early spring, late winter. I don't know. Whenever she says it's ready, it's going to be ready. But I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah, I love the new covers. Of course, I love all the covers. And believe you me, when we're out and about, people see meatloaf and marriage, and then the conversation begins. So, besides having great covers, catchy titles are really important too as well. Now it needs to make sense. Meatloaf and marriage does definitely does make sense, but it needs to not just be catchy, but it can be confusing. Because I always tell people, "Oh, it's catchy," but oh, wait a minute, that doesn't even go with that.
Yeah.
So she has her tag and the three things, the three takeaways, and so I highly recommend Meatloaf and Marriage, and I highly recommend the next two because it's gonna have a book and a workbook. Be on the lookout from Miss Peggy Dixon. If I can push her further, I'm gonna do it. But as far as investing in marriages, that is going to be and hopefully we'll be having sometime in the future a summit to really talking about marriage because some of this stuff I've been seeing online, I'm like, really? Is that way it is? I'm like, okay, I'm like, yeah, Miss Becky, it's time for you to go. Did you? Because it's a whole lot of different definitions of what it is and the commitment to it and 50 years. Congratulations from BK Royston Publishing. It'll be 18 for me, but 50. Woo!
I just want to add this little clip in here that no matter how long you've been married, everybody that has been married can agree to this one fact: it's work. It's work on both parts.
Oh yeah,
it's a commitment to work on it. So I'm excited, and I look forward to talking with you in the future about it. But for now, go check out the two that I've already put out there. And it is on Amazon, but I really wanted you to know you can find it on in other social medias other than Amazon.
And be sure and follow her on Facebook because she definitely goes live and she's giving some golden nuggets. I saw one day. I was like, I had to share it on For the Kingdom Ministry. So yeah, most definitely. Thank you so much, Miss Peggy. More to come. Be sure and follow her so when she drops her new books, you'll be able to find her. And then you need to purchase her books that she has now already.
And congratulations to everyone else.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All righty. Coming up next. Let's go back to the East Coast. Miss Virginia Rector. Yay! How are you, love? Oh, wait a minute. I need you to unmute yourself. Okay, hold on. You still muted. I need for you to unmute yourself. Click, on the microphone.
Okay.
Yay! Right. Okay, take it away.
I was just saying, I'm just still basking in all the energy and synergy in this room, and that I've been able to experience this evening. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for what you've shared. I am Virginia Rector, and my email address is vrector, all lowercase, 2003 at yahoo.com. And I have 3 books I'd like to share. And one of them is the first one is How Can I Serve You? And that one was published in 2018. So I've known Dr. Julia for a little while. And How Can I Serve You coloring book was written or produced during the pandemic. This particular book was actually a combination of drawings that were provided by children, by young teens and tweens who were bored during the pandemic. So we had to find something to entertain them, to engage them, and something was safe and healthy. And they found that they enjoyed drawing. And then we found adults all over the place and children that enjoyed coloring. And then the third book, of course, is E Town and Tree. And that's the one that I'll probably talk about the most tonight, because this was my most challenging book, the shortest book, my first children's book, but the most challenging book to write, E Town and Tree. As you can see, the young lady is Teresa. That's the protagonist in the story. She's the main character. And she is a child that's probably a product of two different parents of two different ethnicities. Um, and yet she is loved like any other child we hope is loved, but she was uprooted from her home. So the impetus for writing this book basically was that oftentimes working in the educational system, you go back to the drawing board, and you go back and you go back and you go back, trying to motivate young people to be involved and be engaged in the lessons that are being taught. But this particular little book is all about being intentional, learning to motivate yourself, dealing with change, finding your purpose, um, and being grateful after finding that purpose so you can move forward, but just being empowered. And that was something that we dealt with this book. And also with it being an era of COVID, a pandemic, excuse me, something that we hadn't really dealt with in this country before. We found that there was a lot of problems with socialization, lack of socialization, and a lack of supports that children were accustomed to having. So there was something called children's nature deficit disorder. The book is a versatile book in that it can be used in STEM classes to help children to learn to appreciate nature. And it also deals with different figures of speech. I've given you some nuggets that I was hoping mostly people would discover after reading the book, but we can't always assume that folks are going to read first and then understand. Sometimes they need to understand what they're going to read. So that's what I wanted to share with about E Town and Tree this evening. But it's been a journey. I want to thank Dr. Julia, because we met in 2018, and I want to say by chance, but it really wasn't. It was ordained to happen. She was given a workshop, and she said, whoever wants to learn to write or to become an author or write their first book, come to my workshop. And that's what I did. Well, she dangled a carrot, and the carrot was, after you leave today, I'm going to offer 3 more or 4 more, 6 more sessions that are free. And of course, we love good free things. I didn't know exactly what I was stepping into, but just like the gentleman said a few minutes ago, it was one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had. And I encourage anyone who wants to write a book to go with BK Royston. You won't regret it. And she does hold your hand up to a degree, to a point, until it's time for her to take off the training wheels and let you roll. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sister Rector is an educator. She may be retired. She'll never retire. All the educators on here, y'all gonna be educators for life, right? I mean, none of us, I mean, even myself, we're not gonna retire. But the E Town and Tree book is really covers a lot of ground. There's a lot of symbolism in it. And I'm glad you've kind of given us up front what they're going to expect inside the book, because it is a transition. The elementary school that I retired from, it was the most transient elementary school in the region, and the children moved a lot. I mean, they were in transition a lot. My heart always went out to them, because they were like, we don't even have boxes or anything. We'll just pack up everything in black bags and move. And I mean, that happens, and life happens on that wise. But it's the emotional toll, it's the spiritual toll, it's the physical toll, it's the being new, being in a place where it's the unfamiliar, and you have to really start all over from scratch. So just like adults are having struggles with transition, children are too. New schools, new playground, new where I mean, something as very basic as where's the bathroom, that students and have experienced. So if you know of a child, or especially in the counseling, I know that school counselors experience all of this, and most people outside the educational community, they're really not even thinking on that wise. I mean, have you ever realized that some children come to school and they don't have the appropriate clothes to wear? They don't, they may be homeless. They're definitely hungry. Most of them, I had free and reduced, that was 100%. Everybody ate breakfast and lunch free. So there's a lot of things that can happen in a child's life. And E-Town is tree is one of those that can cross some boundaries and cross some lines and really help some children to understand, especially biracial children. They can see themselves, and then all children are in that book. But more importantly, they can be able to say, okay, I thought it was just me. I thought I was the odd man out. I thought something was wrong with me. No, there's another character in another story, moving from a very rural community to, the city, or vice versa, and back and forth. So there's a lot in there. E-Town and Tree. Be sure and email Ms. Virginia Rector at vrector2003 at yahoo.com, especially if you need a virtual speaker, hello, for your young people. She's retired, but she still understands young people and wants to help them. And also, how can I serve you? That book is for those who are in youth ministry, those who actually work with young people in churches, and that's a whole conversation for a whole nother time. But that is a struggle in churches today, is to keep the youth inside of the building after they're of age and can decide whether they come in or they not. So be sure and reach out to her, email her, vrector2003 at yahoo.com. Say, I need help. I need a speaker. I need the books in multiple copies. Give me the coloring books too. Um, Let me have the first book so that I can be inspired and encouraged to keep moving forward to help and continue motivating it and empowering the next generation. Thank you so much, Mr. Director. You have a good evening, and thank you so much for being with us. Yay!
Thank you.
I hope that you have enjoyed what we've gone so far. We've got 2 more authors to go, so hold on. And we going back down south. Hold on, let me take that banner down. And welcome, welcome, welcome. The Brinkleys. There they are.
Bring it. Hello.
There they go. Can you put your camera down? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Dr. Alfred and Miss Jessie Brinkley. The
Hello.
website is Courageous Expectations. Consulting.com. Take it away.
Hello, I'm Dr. Alfred Brinkley, and this is my wife, Mrs. Jessie Brinkley. And we are retired educators from Athens, Alabama. And we have really enjoyed our relationship with Dr. Royston. She's been a great inspiration to us. And in the recent times, we've been dancing a little bit by ourselves, but she's always the anchor that holds our work together. And we also have written a total of 10 books, and we've written, I think,
Yay!
five this past year.
Yes.
And we've been working, trying to help students, motivate, educate, and empower students for success. Everything we do, everything we write involves promoting positive behavior in students, behavior and academics.
Yes, and I want to let you know where to find us online. Find us on Facebook, Jessie Brinkley, Facebook and Instagram. Alfred Brinkley, Facebook and Instagram. Also, we have an online website where you can find our books. And that website is Courageous Expectation Consulting.com, where you can go and buy our books. Also, you can email us. Email us at coexpconsult@gmail.com. Okay?
Okay, and as I said, we have written a total of 10 books, but we're focusing on 3 books here. One that's entitled Kindness Rocks. Kindness Rocks. And this is a book that focuses on where students can find examples of kindness in everyday life. And it also talks about how kindness helps you feel better, whether you're giving kindness, receiving kindness, or observing someone being kind. Kindness relieves stress and it makes us smile. It brings people together. And more importantly, kindness is free.
Yes.
And why not share it since it's free?
Yes.
So this book is beautifully illustrated and it spreads kindness just looking at the illustrations.
Yes. Okay. And this is a social emotional book. It can be used in the classroom for that.
Social emotional learning.
And the second book that we want you to look at is Laura, the Friendly Little Goat. And this is about a little goat and a bee establishing and maintaining an unlikely friendship. So we can be friends with anybody, but these two animals decided, well, a goat and a bee decided to become friends. And then
this this Laura, the Friendly Little Goat, this book celebrates differences and bridges the gap to create what some of us might call unlikely friendships, but it promotes the idea that we can be friends with anyone. And Laura, the Friendly Little Goat, and Leah, the bee, becomes the best of friends. They may be different in color, size, shape, and name, but in many ways, they're both the same. And that's what we need to teach our children, to be able to become friends with everyone.
Right. Okay. And the third one.
Okay, this one is Move It, Move It, Move It. And this Move It, Move It, Move It is what we call a social emotional learning book. What it does is get students out of their seats and gets them to use their motor skills and gets them doing physical activities to get them engaged in the classroom activities. And it contains self-management activities designed to help students effectively manage stress, regulate emotional behavior through their physical activities. That also enables them to control their impulses and also to improve self-motivation. And when they use their motor skills, they're also working on other things like balance, coordination, hand-eye coordination, and strengthening the neural pathways in the brain.
Yes, and not only a learning book, but also a book to have a lot of fun. So we just really enjoy our writing process, and we're just happy to share what we know with our students.
Awesome. Courageous Expectations Consulting. Okay, so you all still, well, they travel, they're everywhere. So, I mean, they're everywhere you want to be and more. But you all provide in-service professional development, yes?
Yes.
And besides being at conferences, you will provide professional development. So reach out to them.
Motivational speaking.
Yes, motivational speaking. So they'll come to your youth group, your church group. They'll come and teach your teachers. Dr. Alfred Brinkley is a retired principal, so he knows all about the administrative side. So if you have your district personnel, your district levels as well, and then they bring their materials, 10 books. Woo, we come a long way from them first two. Then we got to Brinkley. We come a long way.
Thanks to Dr. Royston.
Thanks to you for lighting the fire under us.
I'm gonna pull you to the finish line. I tell you, I'm gonna encourage you all the way. Awesome, congratulations!
Thank you. You are a blessing.
Yes,
you're
we
welcome.
appreciate
You're welcome.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I'm gonna bring everybody else back in, and because I know everybody's gotta go some places and be some other places, but I want you to take a look at these authors one more time. I know Dr. Nettles had to go, but I want you to be able to. Oh, she's back! Yay! So I want you to, if you're watching via social media, to be able to follow these authors, purchase their books. One of the beauties of even virtual, they're still doing virtual conferences. I thought that was going to kind of really weed itself out after COVID. No, they're still doing it. And so, therefore, if you're having a virtual conference and you need a poet, you need a motivational speaker, you need a keynote, I have plenty options and plenty opportunities as far as ministry. Fortunately, we're dealing with very academic people, everybody. So they can go from the classroom to the main stage to church. They got everything in between. So let's see. Hold on, I wanted to get the comments on. Oh, Lord, we've had 32 comments. Okay, thank you so much. Hey, Risa.
I miss you too.
I'm so glad. Dr. Joanne James, so glad you have him. There's Dr. Nichols.
I was gonna say I need that marriage book because I just got married this weekend, so I'm gonna need that marriage book from you. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Congratulations, Brooks, man.
Thank
Oh,
you.
man.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Thank you.
gosh.
Y'all was on that. Yeah.
Okay. Abundance. I got me one. Oh my gosh, it was a good read. Great. Oh Lord. Lex, wake me up. There she is. Thank you so much for being on. Edwina, yeah, God is good.
God is good.
God is good.
Yes, he
All the
is.
time. All the
Tim
time.
Walker,
Yes.
wonderful. So glad everybody's on. You don't look like I know it. We sure don't. Hello, Miss Nola Burton. She's in Indianapolis. Hey, Yashika. DC, Maryland, DMV in the house.
Shout out. I love it.
Miss Sandra Wilson, so glad.
Thank you.
Oh, there's your shout out. Risa, yeah, she does need go to his site, Risa. For her twin boys. Yeah, go to his site, pay him TLK Poetry, and you can get the audio of Brooks as well. Let's see who's that. Yeah, we're educators for life. You better believe it. Oh, Miss Carol Avent. Is that Avent? Did I pronounce that right? Event. I'm sorry. I apologize.
She's actually a rector. She's a rector. She's a rector.
Okay. You sound intrigued. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Black History Month.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Thank you so much. Yes, I really strive to do that. And Miss Joanne James. Now, that is one person. If she says she's gonna order, y'all better be ready. Cause she will order, but she don't play around. She don't play no games. So be ready. And she is an educator. She may be retired, but she's still an educator and always looking out for things for her students here in the Louisville, Kentucky area, and Lexington and anywhere else. Her expertise takes her, and she's an excellent preacher as well. Thank you so much, Risa. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the authors being on tonight. Thank you so much for being my guest. And I want to always encourage you to continue to move forward and take your writings to the next level and realize that you do. There is an audience waiting on you. They're waiting on what you have to offer and what you bring to the table. And so let this be an inspiration not only to the authors that are on tonight or the others. We love you too, sweetie. We love you too. But also for those who may be listening, who hasn't written the book yet, who's not ready to go, and just you've been nervous, you've been sitting there on the sidelines, you want to jump in. Come on, jump in.
Just do it. Just do it.
Right.
Let it be a testimony. Let it be a time that, there's 9 billion people on the planet, and the most successful books besides the Bible has not sold 9 billion books. So there's an audience for your book. There's someone who's waiting on your story, and waiting to hear from you. So I'm going to shut it down. Thank you so much for being my guest. Thank you so much for being on with us and supporting all these authors. It's been a pleasure. And love you all. Y'all know where to find me on
Love you too.
media, and
Thank you.
follow these
Thank you.
authors so that you can
Thank you.
find
Good
more
night,
and more
everybody.
and follow them and reach out because we on the move. Yay!
Yes, thank
Good
you.
night, good night, good night.
Good night.
Bye.